Time for me to give my 2 cents on Wheel World, a game I initially, I don't want to say turned my nose up at, but I didn't think was going to be my cup of tea. I saw it was getting good reviews even before the game had come out, based on, the early access codes and everything, and I understood the concept, and I remember this game was actually, I believe, a part of, like, Steam Next Fest, like, earlier in the year, or it might have even been last year. I don't really remember exactly when we did that. It was familiar to me, and it was on my radar. The concept of it being an open world cycling game, racing game specifically, where well, I guess it was more sandboxy than open world per se. I mean, sandbox and open world is a pretty fine line, but essentially where you got to work your way through to the top, crack or try and become the fastest racer out there, all the while upgrading your bike as you go. Now, let's talk about the things that I didn't particularly like about the game. First off, I will say that the gameplay after a while does get a bit tedious and repetitive. After, like, I don't know how many races, you're kind of like, okay, it all behaves kind of the same way. It's pretty exploitive, but it's got an issue with how it controls as well. I've noticed, like, a lot of times, like, if you even remotely bump another player, you'll either get interlocked with them, or you'll be fighting each other and the AI will constantly be trying to, like, go the opposite direction, and they're programmed to do a certain track, and that's it. Again, you can exploit it in your favor, but if you do mistime it or misjudge it, you're going to get stuck into them, or they're going to make this weird 90-degree turn, you know what I mean? And then they just ram into you, and it just ends up looking pretty damn jank. So unfortunately, that is the negative of that, is the fact that AI and the gameplay itself does have some quirks to them, especially if you're even if you get stuck on a wall, it might grab your tire and just pull you aside, and even though you normally just rub along it, it'll stop you dead in its tracks. So I feel like there's some inconsistencies with some of the gameplay in terms of the races themselves, and like I said, it does get a bit repetitive, and the AI isn't the smartest, and the AI can be kind of annoying with their movements and, just what they're doing in general. Sometimes they just get in the way and they just make a random turn for no reason. It's very, very bizarre. So in terms of that, I'd say that's the game's biggest downfall. Also, I will say the story was pretty nonsensical. Obviously, we can make sense of it, but it's just kind of like a stretch. It's like they took a simple concept and they're like, how can we make a story of this? So I didn't love the story. I can appreciate the characters. I really had, but they weren't like that. There wasn't that much depth to them, so they're just kind of surface level characters, and the whole real point of the game is just customizing the bike and obviously, beating the race as many as you can. In terms of what I didn't like about it, I say that is what sums it up there. Now, for what I did like about it, I will say this is an extremely fun game. It is a game that is not too serious. It's got a really fun style to it. The art is really cool. The art design is really, really cool. It reminds me of a few games I've played in the past where the art style is simplistic but creative at the same time. But then it takes an actual very serious it takes the game very seriously. It takes itself seriously to the point where even though it's having a bit of fun, it's like, no, this is a proper racing game. So despite what I said about, how it handles, I still feel like the game does it very well. I said earlier that there's a really, really good balance of both arcade and realism when it comes to it, and obviously changing parts is almost like a technical thing, trying to figure out what the best combination is for your style of play, because what works for me, I really liked having a slightly slippery tail to the point where I can control a slide better than I can if I'm just gripping it. I'd rather slide and drift almost into corners and have a nice top speed and a good acceleration, you know what I mean? I like that, where someone might hate that and they'd rather have really, really sharp steering and great grip and all that, and is willing to sacrifice things on the top end. So the fact that you're able to customize your bike to suit your play style is really cool, and obviously having all the different types of bike parts that are both realistic looking but also really crazy. Like the body bike is wild, you know what I mean? They have all different types of bikes and things like that. The challenges, there's a lot of them, but there's not too much of them, and they're not super hard to the point where they become infuriating. It's one of those games that is just simple fun, and the challenge is well, I know I can do faster, and you push yourself, you tweak your bike, or do whatever you can to just make yourself get that little bit extra time out of there, and it's a fun thing to go for. Obviously, the price point as well is very, very good. It's relatively low, and if you do have Game Pass as well, you can actually play this game included with Game Pass. So if you have it, might as well just go ahead and play it based on that. But even if you don't have Game Pass and you have Steam or PlayStation or whatever, the game is still relatively cheap, especially right now. I think it's still on sale, or it was on sale. I'm not sure, but it only cost, I think it's looked like it was about $22 Canadian. That might be with a Game Pass discount, so it might be 25 bucks. Let's just say it's like 20 bucks US or something like that. And you get at least 6 hours of gameplay if you're trying to do every challenge. Obviously, you can collect stuff as well and just kind of explore and do whatever you want to do. And you can do replays, not that you'll really need to, but once you beat all the races, you probably won't go back to the races. You'll just try and do some of the achievements, like maybe, like I said, search throughout the land and see what you can find and just try and get all that gamer score. So for that amount of money, there is actually a lot of game for you to play. And like I said, it doesn't, even though the gameplay does and the races kind of get repetitive, by that point, you know what, I'm still satisfied. The journey here was still fun. It was still worth it. And it was one of those games that was pleasantly surprising to me. I honestly wasn't expecting it to be this fun, and it was. And yeah, I can recommend this for sure, definitely. So to summarize it all, what I didn't like, obviously the AI is a little bit janky and the gameplay does get a bit repetitive. And there were, I should mention as well, there were some frame drops here and there in certain areas, despite being a relatively you know, not physically demanding game, or, you know, it's not a super demanding game for your CPU. That might be exclusive to PC, though. I don't know. And it might not happen to everybody as well, so that might just be subjective. But, yeah, really the problems are the gameplay. The gameplay AI is the biggest thing, and obviously it gets a little repetitive. But the game does an absolute fantastic job at bringing you this nice, beautifully designed world, simple designed world with a simple gameplay style, but it also blends a bit of realism to the racing. So it is a serious racer. It's not just a generic hold down the throttle and turn. It's actually, you actually have some thought and there's some strategy to it with all the bike parts and everything. And obviously you get a really good bang for your buck with the playtime, the amount of exploration you can do, and the achievements you could possibly get. It's really good value for money in this. So based on all of that, I think the game deserves an 8 out of 10. I think it is really, really unique. It's something I don't think I've ever seen. I've played a lot of racing games. I don't think I've played actually some cycling games, believe it or not. There have been some where the bike is the focus, but I've never played a game where it's this kind of blend of customizing your bike, you know, racing and doing all these sorts of things. I think this is really, really a nice treat. I think if they were to dial it in and maybe add a couple extra things to the game, you know, just like through updates, you know, I feel like there's like maybe even a waypoint system, like a proper one, even though the game isn't that big. It just, some things to make your life a little bit easier that I think you could add with updates. I think it would increase its stat, and obviously if they could dial in that AI to be a little less jank, I think that would really improve things. I really, really do. But yeah, that's what I think about that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you leave a like, comment your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Turn on those post notifications as well with that bell icon so you don't miss anything I put out here on the channel. Be sure to follow my socials: Facebook, X, Instagram, Snapchat, and Discord. Those are all linked in the description. If you want to get yourself a shirt or hoodie of mine, there's a link in the description. Also an embedded feature below the stream/video. Scroll down, you'll see some options there. If you do want to just go to the full website to get the full range of products and customization options there. Big shout out to the sponsors, of course: DXRacer, Bones Coffee, The Ridge Wallet, Matter of a Tattoo. I use the products daily. Check them out for yourselves with the links in the description. Be sure to use my promo code DANQ8000 to save at checkout. Thank you very much, Jake, for that gifted member right at the end there as well. If you guys want to send something to my P.O. box, there is an address in the description. Anything that gets sent to that P.O. box, I will open on a social post or a stream, depending whatever makes the most sense. But if you're interested, it is there. Finally, be sure to check out and sign up for the Team 8000 membership program if you haven't done so yet. It does support the page immensely. There's 4 tiers, 4 price points. Entry level is 99 cents. Cheap and easy to get into the program. For signing up across those tiers, you'll get things like custom badges by your name, custom emojis used in chat, exclusive video and stream access, priority in open lobbies, giveaways, discounts, and plenty more. Working our way back up towards the 300s. We're doing pretty good so far, in the mid 260s at the moment. So I'd love to keep going. If you guys want to help us get there, support the channel in the process while you get some cool perks, you can join that with the link in the description. Join buttons below the stream/video. Also a section on my main channel page as well. If you guys want to gift members or send super chats or super thanks, depending when you're watching this video, there's a $sign right next there. Click it, you'll get a drop down. If you are gifting members, keep in mind you can gift anywhere from 1 to 50 in a single transaction. Ultimately, you can gift as many as you want through multiple transactions, okay? Thank you guys again. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we see you in the next one, all right? Take care. Have a good one. Peace.
Who's the man with the plan? If you feel trouble wildin' wild on these violent and hit you 8,000. Wait a minute, hold that style is dialed in. Goddamn Billy Jack, we still riding, tires flat. I hear them sirens, see shots flying, so we driving, fire back if they ain't vibing. Lie with that, got me dressed up in all black. What up? Hood up, and I see them haters try to run with us. They gon' need inhalers. Gotta breathe them hard just like Darth Vader. Players, grab your respirators. Night invaders get lightsabered. Mask on for the shooters, move like trash to bed intruder. Got that Glock and got them woofers. Just press play, I'll keep it moving. Who is not still, you damn fools? Keep it fresh like canned food. There ain't nothing we can't do, so tune into that damn Q. Yeah. It's never, ever a game. I'm out.